Thank you, Austin. Kelly, you want to kick it off? Since you're the one with the whip.
Right. Okay. So the state of Oregon requires that I review every contract document associated with a listing or sale of a property within 7 business days of it being signed by a party. So that's not 7 days from the date it is agreed upon. That's 7 days from the time your client puts pen to paper and signs it. Okay. But in order for us to manage all the contracts that come through the office, we have to have them submitted within 3 days. So 72 hours. That allows us enough time to review all the contracts you guys produce. The Oregon Real Estate Agency sees this as a very vital role in compliance and making sure that there aren't issues, everybody's acting legally, that you're within the bounds of real estate, and to make sure that you're up to the standards and practice set forth in the Oregon Real Estate Statute. And so I've seen situations where agents have been brought before the Oregon Real Estate Agency review board, and they've been brought in for one thing that isn't that big of a deal, but then they start asking for all the paperwork that you submitted with regards to that deal, and that paperwork's not there, and that's when the issues start getting really, really big for you guys. And so you can get censured, you can get suspended, you can lose your license if the real estate agency feels like your violations are egregious enough. So it's not something you want. You don't want your name attached to any kind of violation. You don't want your clients searching your name and having your name come up as a censure or a suspension or a termination or whatever. So this is all really, really important stuff. So we need to make sure that it is a priority for you to submit your paperwork in a timely fashion.
Is that 3 calendar days or 3 business days?
You have 72 hours, period.
So calendar days, 72 hours from the minute it's signed, right?
From the minute that a purchase agreement is signed?
From the time it's signed, Kelly?
Purchase offer, I mean.
So I'm not going to sit there with a clock and waste time counting it backwards, but I need them within 3 days so I have time to review them.
Here's the thing, the minute it's signed, it's the 7 days for the state. If they came in and audited us and it wasn't done yet, and we're in that time frame, that's where you can get in trouble. And the time is stamped, because most signatures are digital now, right? So the time is actually stamped on there. So you want to make sure that you're paying, and that's why I said, you know, when you get the deal pending, sit down and do all those things, and then upload, you know, which is uploading. It's on your buyer's pending. Same thing with your seller, right? So you're gonna send off the emails to everybody. Then you're gonna do your opportunity checklist to make sure your clients are getting the information. And you're gonna schedule your inspections. Then you're gonna upload and submit. And you're gonna talk to your buyers about dropping the earnest money off at escrow, right? Same thing on the listing side. You're gonna go through all the steps that you need to do. Do it that first day. Done and done. And then each time you get a new document, as soon as you get it signed from the other party or signed from your party, upload it and submit it.
So keep that clock running kind of in the back of your head, knowing, okay, my buyer just signed this, and within the next 72 hours, I need to submit something, either just this document with just their signature on it, or preferably, hopefully they accepted it or they rejected it, unfortunately, but something with the seller signature on it. Make sure you get that submitted. So if you're waiting for something to get signed and it's on the 4th day, you should submit. If you're waiting for something to get signed, it's on the 2nd day, you can hold off for another day before signing it, just so you're not doing things needlessly. And so I'm not reviewing paperwork that doesn't need to be reviewed yet, but at some point I'm going to have to. So, and we don't want to have to go, you don't want to have to upload it twice. I don't want to have to review it twice. So give yourself those 3 days to get your offer accepted. Then once you are submitting it, if it hasn't been accepted, or if it has been rejected, but it wasn't rejected formally, it was left to expire, submit it with a note. So I know that the context of the offer, or submit it with a note saying, waiting for the outcome of negotiations, or the offer was let to expire by seller and never gave us a response. If you provide that information, that allows me to review it quicker and just get off my plate and not have to hassle you for more information about it. But if you submit it without that information, then I've got to say, hey, what's this? Why are there no signatures on it? What's the point of this? So if you're submitting something that doesn't have a full round of signatures, or doesn't have a clear rejection on it, then provide some color as to why you're submitting it, what happened with the deal, why it wasn't signed by the seller, or why it wasn't signed by the buyer.
Yeah, does that make sense?
What
And
is-
then, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, what are some, cause I hear like this 3 days is so important, but like, why wouldn't somebody just turn it in rather than they get it? Like, what are some things that might happen to make it to where you would?
Like, let's say your client signed an offer, like they wrote an offer and you send it off to the seller. I don't need to review that right away. Like, hopefully that's going to get signed by the seller and then accepted, and then I can review it. And so that way you won't have to submit it twice, and I don't have to review it twice. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
But I think what he's asking is, why would someone wait and not submit, Kelly?
Oh, they just forget.
Because
They forget. They're superstitious. They're lazy. They're not aware of the rules.
Okay,
Yeah, a lot of different.
many transactions, they're not.
yeah.
They're drinking on the
You
job.
guys, you know, we're really like hit Kelly and I the last couple of weeks that we needed to have this class is because I covered for Heather to do checks, to pay you guys in 1 week. And in that 1 week, which was the middle of the month, so it was crazy busy with checks. There was tons of checks coming in. But yet when I left on Friday, waiting for, because I could only process those that were approved by Kelly and that had turned in the commission submittal, okay? That's another one that Heather requires within 72 hours. So that's, again, just sit down and do it all right at the beginning. We can change it if anything happens. I had a stack of checks that I couldn't process. So the deal's closed and the money was here for us to pay, but we couldn't because the transaction hadn't been submitted, because it wasn't approved, because they hadn't submitted their commissions yet. So we're holding money that, I mean, when you want to get paid, the day the money comes in, it takes 24 hours for it to show up in your bank, or the next day, right? Because it's ACH. So the same day Heather gets the checks, she processes it right through and she sends out the direct deposit. And the next day, guess what shows up in your bank? Right? That's ideal. That's the way we want it to be. But we can't do it if you're not submitting your contracts, if you're not approved on your closings, and you're not submitting your commissions. So that's where you guys think that's the most important part, right? You want to get paid, you want your money, and we want you to have your money. But the first most important part of this is being in compliance and making sure that if the state comes in and audits us, that we're not getting in trouble, you're not getting in trouble. Because what's the worst thing that can happen, Kelly?
We could lose our licenses.
Everybody can.
So what's the single most valuable thing you own as a real estate broker?
Your license.
Yeah. Do you have a business without your license?
Can't do
No.
any- Can't practice real estate without your license. Can't get paid
Yeah.
for it without your license. Got to keep that license in good standing. And so,
Right.
there's a couple other things I want to add on to this. So as part of the review process is what I do is I go through and I read, looking for signatures, obviously, but I'm really going to pay special attention to the areas where you've written in terms. So like the additional provisions or an addendum or something along those lines. And usually by the time I get them, they're already signed by all parties. But there may be something, if there's something written that was kind of funky in there that didn't really jibe, doesn't really go in the spirit of the transaction, or was just something that was kind of half-heartedly written without the full, without the not hindsight, what's future sight? Anyways, without knowing what could happen down the line, I can read that and I can kind of say, hey guys, look, be on the lookout for this, because you wrote a term that isn't really enforceable. So make sure that you're going to practice this way to make sure the deal closes. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Kind of like I'm trying to think of an example, but like, let's say someone just says this sale's contingent upon it being sunny tomorrow, right? Right. Well, I can't do anything about it being sunny tomorrow, but I could say, hey,
Not gonna
that's not
happen.
really an enforceable term. So be prepared to react in case it's not sunny tomorrow.
Right. Kelly's here to protect you guys and to help you. And to make sure that your transactions are as smooth as possible. And you can't do that if we don't get your contracts till the last day. Or he can't help you with an inspection issue or problems or whatever it is, if he doesn't get those till a week after the inspection period is due. Right? So it's all about us helping you,
Right.
maintaining, making sure that your transaction's running smoothly, and that you guys, ultimately, you're most important, get paid
Right.
when the
Help
check
me,
shows up.
help you.
Help me help you, help me.
Yeah.
Help you.
So there's a whole process to this. And are we going to go through the process time?
Yeah.
I did before. Let's
Yeah,
go
we
through the
have time.
process. And this is important to do it all because like if you don't follow this process to the T, then somebody's else is going to have to do it. And then that's pulling somebody away from something you probably want them to do. And so follow this, take notes, be specific, add detail as you need to as you go through this so that we're able to help you easier and more efficiently. And that provides more time for us to help you guys with other things that are, more important.
Yeah. How many have written offers? How many practice writing offers? Good.
Yeah, we did that in practice.
Yeah, but not everybody did it.
Oh,
Everybody online? Have you guys, yep, Megan has, Masha has,
has.
Tracy, all the ones online, they've all written actual offers,
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
Yeah, yep, okay, so do I have anybody new on there? I wanna make sure, no, okay. So, does everybody have their zip forms, DocuSign and Command figured out?
Are they connected?
Are they connected? Okay. So, there's a couple different ways you can do it. Kelly, I'm gonna move you back over here to this, and I'm gonna go to commands, home screen. Oh, I should have went and tried to get my zip forms and DocuSign. Okay. So the first thing to do to make sure that you're connected is come into your commands, go up to your name on the drop down. I gotta share screen, hold on. Screen number 2. Okay, you're gonna go to your name, you're gonna go to the drop down, you're gonna go to settings. And you should see right here, DocuSign, connected. If it doesn't say connected, go yell at Austin. And I'm not kidding on that one. Go yell at Austin. You're welcome, Austin. And then, so then the next thing that you want to do is, number 1, can everybody get into their zip forms? Here's a question. Can Tanya get into hers? Oops. Let's see. Can she? No. Did that not get me in there? I don't think it has that on the end. Can you get kicked out of this? Oh my gosh. Does anybody know my password? Oh my gosh. I don't even know if I have it saved in my password folder.
that was why my email was not, it was not connected on
Your email wasn't connected on here?
I just did.
So I probably don't even have my password. I've been logging into this all dang vacation. Why can't I get in now? It shouldn't be that one. Oh Lord. Okay, hold on. I'm pretty sure it's that email. There's the other thing. What did I teach you guys? Make sure you have a spreadsheet with all your passwords, right? Yeah. Anybody else having issues? All right, hold on.
Hey, Tanya, I think
Yeah.
it maybe is that, I think maybe your username's wrong.
I don't think my username is wrong.
Mine's just Kelly Diaz. It doesn't have a KW.
It doesn't have the email?
Yeah,
Okay, that's probably it then. Thank you.
we'll see.
Because I'm pretty sure that that's it.
Try the capital T. Like mine's capital K, capital D.
I found it. Thank
Got
you,
it.
Kelly. It's not an email.
Cool.
Okay, so let's go into the test. So when you're in here and do a test one, you guys, hands down, do a test account, make sure that you are checking on how to do the contracts, read through the contracts, everything. But if I came in here and I want to look at, the easiest way to do it is just come over here and hit e-sign. And DocuSign should show up. I'm just gonna grab that one. DocuSign should show up right here, okay? If DocuSign shows up there, you're connected. If it doesn't, it's gonna have something else and it's gonna ask you to pay. That means you're not connected, all right? So then if you're not connected, reach out to Austin and he'll help connect you guys. Pardon me?
What did you put on?
I just went over here to, let me go back to here. I was on summary. And I just clicked on e-sign right here. Cause like, I go through here, I'm coming in zip forms, I'm bringing all my documents in, right? And then I finished filling them out and now I want to send them for signatures. This for me is the easiest way to do everything. I prefer it this way. Then I just hit e-sign and then it pops up and it asks you which documents that you want. And I think because I just did that, it's doing that to me. Check them, check them, check them. E-sign, it's still doing that. Yours isn't connected? Yeah, see, there you go. So let's go back to the list. Let's go to a different, here's another test one. I got 100 test ones. So when you click on e-sign, it's gonna ask, this is gonna pop up and it's gonna ask which documents you wanna send. So you definitely wanna make sure you've been in there and you filled it all out properly, right? And then so when you go in to send these, I'll just grab 2 of them. Oh, this is a listing. You check all the ones you want. I'm just gonna do 2 for right now for the test purposes. And then DocuSign is selected. You can name it. So I would name like the property or, you know, the buyer name or whatever it is that you want to simplify. And then hit next and choose your parties. Hey, Kelly, you're the listing agent on this one. How cool is that? And then we'll hit close. And then as long as you have the email addresses, it's going to bring those people up here, right? So if I'm missing, I'm going to add some signers and you're going to go back and you're all right, who's missing their email. So the seller is missing the email, right? So you can just write in the email right here. And then close it. And now you've added another signer in here. Oh, I didn't hit. Check the box. Spell things right. Don't be in a hurry. Am I still missing? No, that's right. And then now that all your people will show up here that needs to sign, okay? And then when you hit next, guess what's gonna happen? I've got a seller and I've got the selling agent in here. So every possible, oh my gosh. I think it's because I'm in incognito. Don't do it in incognito. All right, hold on. Close. I'm gonna open a new window. Don't tell anybody I'm on this. It's not zipformplus.com. DocuSign will yell at me and say, oh, you signed in someone else. So much better when you're on your own, right?
Absolutely.
And you've done it 100 times and it's saved, so you don't have to do this. Okay, let's try that again. Where is it? Comes back to the last one you always worked on shows up over here at the first spot. And go back to my e-sign and let's see if it's signature right here. Signature packets, I've got one ready. Is it ready? I want to just mark them again. Okay, close, next. Signature or the email saved, so that's good. Close, go to next. Okay, these work this time. DocuSign. DocuSign does not like incognito. All right, so there's my forms and they're all stacked over here. So if I wanted to just scroll down over here, I can click on this one. And why doesn't that have a signature in it? That's not the right person. That's not the right document. This is what you get when you have time to do classes. Okay, and then you would drag and drop the date for the right person. We're just gonna say that that's the person. Listing contract. So you're gonna come in and you're gonna do check boxes and stuff, right? Because we need to mark this. So normally these shouldn't these ones already be filled in here?
I think you would expect that to be filled in, yes. I don't know why it's not.
This, I know, right? It should.
And maybe unless you created this in RMLS, that would just be a flat document, but I'm not sure
Yeah,
why it's not.
I don't know where this came from. It's a previous, but it should have signatures. See, there's already a seller signature already filled in for me there. And over here, which I would want to move that and probably shrink it down so it's not blocking the box here, right? And so it'll do this on the purchase and sale agreement as well. It'll put all the signatures of everybody, as long as they're listed as a party, as a seller or as a buyer with their emails, then it'll autofill everything in for them.
Yeah, on that document, it's gonna do just the signatures. It's not gonna, none of these documents are gonna autofill check boxes for you. So like the seller's property disclosure statement, you may think about formatting that up somewhere. There's two forms in there. There's an E form and a regular form. You want to use the E form, but you're gonna have to set up the boxes. And there's actually a good video online that Chantel did about doing that.
Yeah. And then this one's white. Why is it white?
It's for the other person.
Nope. This is one that we can't answer for them. Yeah, Brian?
This is the listing document, right?
Yep.
So when I was doing this recently, I did it, generated an RMLS and then put it into DocuSign. So all those boxes were checked. Is that an appropriate way to do that? So it just seemed like there were so many spots to go through and check. But when I uploaded it.
Oh, are you talking about on the RMLS sheets in the listing?
Yeah, there's like the
You
last.
guys don't have to do that, right, Kelly? This.
Yeah, you don't need to go through and do that. Yeah, in fact, I think there's a copy of the listing agreement in zip forms. I think it's called listing agreement and it has a date 4/20 next to it, which is funny. But I think that is just a listing contract and not the additional pages, because I never send the additional pages over. You're gonna want to get that initialed, not this form initialed, but you're gonna get the RMLS form initialed by your client. Once it's input into the RMLS, you're gonna download a PDF of it and you're gonna send it to them for initial. But I never fill out this form and have them initial it.
No, what I used to use this form is when you do your walkthrough on the listing.
Yeah.
Right? So that you make sure you don't miss anything.
Yeah.
So if you're walking through the house, take those forms with you to check the stuff and write notes and fill in the information. Oh yeah, I gotta measure the rooms, right? So this is a good checklist for you. And then like Kelly said, after you enter all the information into RMLS, before you hit it live, send a copy of that to your seller to make sure they can review it and check anything, add stuff, remove stuff, and have them sign it. So, it's just gonna fill in everything there, but going back to this one. They either are a FERPTA or they're not a FERPTA. So this is optional. So when it comes across, I think it's under formatting. No. Initial here, optional. So it'll give them the choice to check one of them or to initial one of them, okay? So this is what ideally is the easiest way to do it. And then you just hit send. Once you go through it, make sure the signatures are lined up right. If it's too big and it's blocking something else, like this was huge, right? It was like that. You're blocking the name. So think about that, right? You want to make sure that everything can be read. So change the size of it and bring it down. And then just go through all of your documents and make sure that everything is in line before you hit send. And you just change and drop down to the other person on whoever needs to sign. Okay? That's the simple way of doing it. Now, once the documents come back and you need to upload it into Command, the easiest way to do that is just come into the contract. I'm just gonna grab one. Click on Documents. Make sure you go to Under Contract and upload that document in the section that it needs to be uploaded into. Okay? When you are in DocuSign, if you need an agreement, there's a couple ways that you can, because when you get the signed purchase and sale agreement from the other party or even from your own party, it's going to be one long multiple form PDF, and you need to separate them out. So you can do that in DocuSign, or you can use a PDF app that separates the PDFs, right? But DocuSign will do it for you. So that's the easiest way to come in and separate it. So then let's say that, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so, and this is, I kind of brushed upon this earlier in my opening statement here, but like, there's a button there that says add comment.
Yep, right here.
If you click add comment and then go at Kelly.
Look at that. Kelly shows up.
And then that's a good place for you to leave me a note where you would say, we never received a rejected offer from the seller. They accept another offer, let it expire or something like that. Or waiting for signatures still, whatever. Add a little color there if it's just not like an acceptance. So if you're submitting an addendum that never got accepted, just say, addendum A was not accepted by the seller or something like that. That way I don't have to ask you and you don't have to respond. It's just easier to do it while you're there. And that way I can just check it off the list and we can all move on to bigger and better things.
Yep. And then it just stacks, right?
Yep.
And then, so then when you're coming in, and you sent something for a signature, I'm gonna add a file. If you started your transaction, create your opportunity before you even write an offer in zip forms, hit that start transaction. It'll create a DocuSign room for this transaction. And now that allows us to go grab signed documents in DocuSign and upload directly to here. That's the beauty of having it connected, right? More to go quickly grab stuff to upload. But again, a lot of your forms are going to be coming in an email because it's going to become signed from someone else, right? But you could have it signed back from your buyers. So find your rhythm and the best placement for you to store your stuff before you upload into here. So now I'm going to go to DocuSign, and this is probably one I haven't connected yet. Yeah. So I could assign one. No. That's what you're going to run into if you haven't connected a room. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're always starting that transaction before, I must not have any documents on this one. I have too many fake accounts. So if you go to transaction here, that's going to take me right to my DocuSign. Oh no. Oops, finger draw. Uh-oh. Nope. Hey, look at that. Verification code. Just came in, new verification.
And I think that we're in incognito again.
It's okay on DocuSign.
Yes, okay.
Over here, it'll be okay. It's when it's got to grab it and open it in that connection that it doesn't like it. So, yeah, I don't have any documents in here, which is why I couldn't find anything. So this is what you would do to start out before you even go to zip forms, right? To make your life easier. And then when you want to write your offer, I like going into zip forms to write the offer. How about you, Kelly?
Yeah, if I'm writing an offer, I want to write it in zip forms for sure.
Because if you come in here, guess what you have to do? Drag and drop
Oh, yeah,
everything.
no. It's too
And
much
nobody
work.
wants to do that, right?
Yep. It's too much work. And
It's
it looks
way too
funny.
much.
It kind of looks funny too. It
Yeah.
doesn't look as professional, the offer once it's delivered and signed.
Right, so always upload, write all your offers in zip forms. And then you can upload and grab the signed documents from DocuSign. You can grab your signed documents from your computer, which ideally is where I would grab everything, right? So just manual drag and drop. You can open and grab, or you can, just grab a document from somewhere and it won't take that one. Yeah. Drag and drop. And now it's gonna pull in and I can hit assign. That's the easiest in my mind, right? But if you need to take something of a multi-DocuSign document and separate it, you're gonna do that either in DocuSign or in a PDF viewer. Kelly. Commissions. So, commissions, and I already have it here, so let me go grab another one. No, let's just do this one. Day one, you're pending, you're going through, you're doing everything, you're uploading the documents that you already have signed by both parties. Then the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna click on offers and commissions, and you're gonna add a new offer. And then you're gonna do the steps. That's simple and easy. Some of you guys are already in here for this. This is just a step through thing, okay? So find your listing, you can select it from KWLS, you can enter an address. If you start typing an address in, it'll show up, and then you just go to parties, the seller's name, or the seller's name, and then the agent name. Oops, sorry. And then the terms. This, you can't write just in the price, you have to do the cash and finance amount. And then your earnest money, you can either enter a percentage in, or you can enter in the exact, that's not enough. The exact amount, skip all the rest of this, unless you have some seller's closing costs, which I don't see that in today's market. And then come to this and hit save. We're only stepping through that to open the commissions up. Once you have that done, I'm gonna get rid of this one so we're not confused here. Then you're gonna hit accept. As soon as you hit accept, you can now manage the commission on this transaction. This needs to be done along with the submittal of the documents in the first 72 hours. Okay? And then once you do the submittal of, or once you come into commissions, you're gonna make sure that the information is correct. Loading. Well, now I broke it. Yay. I don't see anything spinning. Here's impatient Tanya, clicking buttons. Okay, so now the commissions is here, but see I haven't entered my date in. maybe the commission might not be right. So make sure you're double checking everything on here. The sales price is correct, the commission is correct, the rate is correct, that your close date is correct. All of this information is what Heather relies on, and that gets fed into the systems, okay? So it's super important to edit that information and correct it. What if your price changes? You can change that, right? Once you submit this, you can always come back and edit it, because we see it, we have a home inspection, now we have a price reduction, or we have credits, so everything changes commission-wise. So make sure you get that information in there. Oops, I scroll. And save the changes, and now I'm okay. If you have another agent that's splitting the commissions with you, you're gonna add them as another agent. That's only agents in our office. All right? If you're doing a code, you're gonna list them here. If it is an agent or a referral that you have, like your city leads, you're gonna come in and you're gonna enter it here under your edit payment. You're gonna scroll down to the bottom and you're gonna add an item. This is where it says referrals. So anytime you have a referral to someone outside of our office, you're gonna add here. If you're doing KWPP cares, like a one-time thing, you're gonna add that down here too. Sometimes it's easier just to go to Heather on that one because you need our tax ID number for that, all right? So, and as far as a referral goes, you better have, it's always an outside referral, the referral form from the office that the referral is going to, because we need their tax ID number. We need that broker's information, okay? It's not the agent necessarily that you have the referral with, and then that form needs to be given to Heather too, okay? So you would enter that information in here, 25% referral. You're gonna find their tax ID type, it's probably an EIN. Oops, set another number in there, there we go. The broker name. Oops, do that. The agent name. And the location, so you gotta do all the information. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's not gonna work. All right, we'll just put that in there. And it's not valid, of course it's not. Damn it. Well, let's just pick one. Here we go. And their phone number. And then that's it, and you're gonna add it. Okay, so then you save that, and now that referral fee shows up over here for you, outside referral right there. So you definitely wanna go through this and make sure that this information is correct, all right? The E&O insurance is standard every single time. We cannot change that information on there. Then your total shows up over here, what's gonna get paid if you still owe royalty or company. That's gonna show, it's gonna give you an idea of where you're at for what you have to pay in still to KW and to KWRI. And then when you are done, you're gonna hit submit, and that's gonna go to Heather. If you don't hit submit, she doesn't have your payment information and you're not gonna get paid, okay? So, and she doesn't have time to babysit every single transaction to see if you have one out there to pay you. All right, so that's important to do that. If you're doing test accounts and you're wanting to practice this, do not hit submit. Okay, and then when you're done playing with that and checking with it, I want you to come back over here and you want to change your response and you want to get rid of that. And if you have a transaction that dies, right, you're going to change the response and you're going to get rid of it. But on a practice one, I want you to get rid of those. I don't want an acceptance on here because that affects our books. Okay? And if you submit it, Heather thinks she's got a commission that she's got to pay out, and that affects our books. So don't do that. Kelly, you got anything else on this?
No, that's perfect. I think you covered it really well.
Does anybody have any questions when it comes to compliance and getting your money? No? No, we're all good. Does anyone have any questions on how to do the zip forms and the DocuSign and how to write an offer and, because we have lots of classes. Just not today. All right. You guys will all get a checkbox that you know how to do this right. And if you don't worry, if you don't remember or you need help with it, you got Kelly and you got myself to come ask for help during your transactions. But we're gonna be harder on people getting their stuff done and turned in on time. And it is every single transaction that you write on. Right, Kelly?
Absolutely.
If you write it and you send it for signatures and on one side, doesn't matter if it's a buyer or seller, and it comes back signed by your buyer or your seller, and they change their mind before you send it off, do you have to submit it?
Yes.
Yeah, you do. It has to get submitted to Kelly to review and to have on everything that gets submitted becomes a record for us to have. We don't have it unless you submit it, okay? And Kelly, as your managing broker, needs to have record of every single thing that you have someone sign. Because what happens if that buyer, I think I'm done on this. Stop share. What happens if that buyer comes back and says, you know what, I don't want to work with you anymore, you didn't get that house for me? It's happened, right, Kelly?
Yep.
And so you're like, okay, we part ways, right? And then Kelly gets a phone call from a buyer that says, so-and-so wrote an offer for me and it didn't get accepted because they didn't submit it on time, or they didn't do something. We have record, right? Or maybe they come back and they say that by the time you got, switch to Kelly here, sorry. By the time you got the offer over to them for signatures, you took so long to do it, they missed out on getting their offer accepted. And you have the times and the email chain and everything, right? It's all about keeping your records that says that you did get it over in time. It happens. So remember, it's all about protecting you guys, right? So if we don't have records of you submitting that offer, you never submitted it to Kelly for review, you didn't keep the email chains, and it comes back, we don't have a leg to stand on because we have no proof.
Yeah,
Right?
and to go a little bit further on that, if
Yeah.
let's say you do have a transaction that's been executed and you're in a deal and you're negotiating, you're moving forward to closing, and I get a phone call from the other agent's principal broker, and I pick it up and they ask me about this file, and I go to look at the file and I don't have the file. It's not good. It doesn't look great. It doesn't allow me to help them or help you or your clients in real time. Then I've got to call you and I've got to get you to upload the file. And then while we're doing this, we're losing precious time. So like, get the stuff, be on time, get your stuff done, be professional, and good things will happen.
Yeah. So very important. Remember, every single thing you write and get a signature. If you write it and don't send it out for signatures, you don't even worry about it. Okay? Because we all know people change their mind as you're typing. But if you send it out and they sign it and you get it back, that needs to get uploaded. Even if they change their mind and say, well, I don't want to write on that one, let's write on another one. Okay? Submit that. And then in the comments, buyer changed their mind before I submit it to the agent. Simple. Kelly checks it, there's a lost opportunity, okay? Once Kelly looks at it and reviews it, you go to the opportunity and you can do lost opportunity so that it clears off and it doesn't clutter up your stuff, all right?
Yes.
All right, you guys, any other questions? Everybody's gonna be in compliance, right? Everybody's gonna get paid on time, right? We got questions online?
Michaela had some questions.
All right,
Sorry, can I just talk because
Yes.
So like for my listing, for example, I don't know, I didn't know the marketing date
Mm-hmm.
on the time of signing.
Mm-hmm.
So is it okay to do that or to
So,
like just leave it blank?
so here's it. So here's the deal. So you can go ahead and get that signed and submitted, but you don't really have a valid listing until that date's been filled in. So once that date's been figured out, you're going to use an RMLS addendum and you're going to have it signed by the seller stating the date the marketing is to begin.
Yeah, there should be absolutely no documents, no listing that says to be determined for a marketing date. Not a valid
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah, like, so you can either, there's two options there. So if you want to have a valid listing, you set a date that's got plenty of time to go. And then, you know, plenty of time in the distance, and then you can make an adjustment on that with an addendum stating the date. That way you leave with a valid listing. But if they refuse to give you that, then have them sign what you can have them sign, even though it's not really enforceable. It mentally in their mind kind of is, and then you can use the addendum later to get it signed with what the date actually is. Or I see people do it with the sales price sometimes too. I don't like that either, but it's
Yeah,
better than leaving without anything signed. So get what you can signed and then use an addendum, an RMLS addendum later to consummate the sale or consummate the agreement.
yeah.
And how the addendum is just like the blank, so I just write everything.
You're going to go into zip forms and there's a form called RMLS addendum. You're going to fill that out. It's really self-explanatory.
Okay.
But make sure you go to RMLS forms inside zip forms and you'll pull up the specific addendum.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, she had a good question on there about referrals. If you have a referral, like you sent a referral off and you're getting paid a referral fee, that's not an opportunity, okay? We don't enter it in because we don't do documents or anything with it. What you'll do is you'll get a copy of it to Heather and let her know you have a referral coming in. The ideal thing for you to do is you hopefully have those people listed in your contacts so that you can go in and you can manage, right? Check notes, give yourself a checklist, check in with the agent in a week to see where that transaction's at. Have they gone pending yet, right? Have they listed it yet? Whatever it is, so that you're staying on top and you know what's happening, because you also want to try to help your buyer or your seller that you referred out and to let them know that you're important, right? And you want to know what's going on with them and that they're happy. What if they're not happy and you don't check in, you never know, you don't get the referral, right? So stay on top of it, make sure that everything's going well. And then that also lets you know when it's getting closer to the close date. So then if they say, hey, we're closing next week, right? Check in again, has it closed? Then go to Heather and say, hey, Heather, I have a referral check that's coming in this week. Because what happens when those referral checks come in, it's usually sent from the title company, from another state or from somewhere else here. And it comes in with a check and an address.
Free money.
Whose is it? Right? They never put who the agent is, ever. And sometimes the buyer, the seller name's not on there, right? Or maybe it's one of them and not the other one. So if she has something and you have an idea, and if you stay in touch with the agent on the other side, it's easier for us to get the check and go, okay, this is, because then she'll go through the referral sheets that she has to see which one matches up to it and then pays them out. Okay? Any other questions?
Yeah, we have, Tracy made a mention here. I think it would be good to point out when uploading documents in each section of the opportunity, you may not have all the required documents right away, but still need to submit what you have to do. And then as others become available, earnest money deposits, inspection reports, etc., you upload them and submit them. You don't need to have all of the required documents in before submitting. That's absolutely true. And make sure you submit, right? Just uploading it doesn't get on my radar. You need to actually push the button that says submit.
Yeah. What
Very key.
the required is, you have to have the documents that are required to get your check.
And if
Okay?
there's a situation where you wouldn't have that document because circumstances are such, like,
Yeah,
you know, if the property wasn't on the RMLS, so you wouldn't have an RMLS sheet, Or if the property's brand new and there wouldn't be a trio. So there's situations where not all those forms always apply. Again, put a note in there, let us know why, so we don't have to hassle you for it. So we're not wasting your time or mine.
Yeah. All right. Yay, thanks for coming, you guys.